my head. An ouchie. I don't know what to do now. The floor is done. Oh my god. Literally everything hurts right now. If I hit my head one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Let me show you what's happening. So I just vacuumed and wiped everything down really well, make sure there's no dust or anything. And now I'm gonna bring in my flooring. Woohoo, subfloor's done. So I just brought the vinyl in and unrolled it. I might have to get a second one because it doesn't seem like it's long enough, but we're gonna try and navigate this. So for the main floor piece, I didn't get a great video of the process, so I'll just kind of explain what I did. Basically, after I laid the sheet out and kind of got a feel for how it would fit into the space, I took it and laid it on my driveway flat and oriented it according to what it would look like in the van. And then I took some accurate measurements inside the van and traced those out, and then cut, leaving myself an inch or two for error, because it would be easier to trim like more accurately once it was inside. So let me show you kind of what the floor looks like and where I measured and where I cut, where I didn't cut, those things. So basically the main floor piece, the one main floor piece, I wanted all of the seams to be kind of out of sight and not where I would be walking. So to do that, I left a lot of overhang on the step so that that corner I could trim around it. And also I wanted to be able to extend the floor past the tabletop pieces. So you can see that they extended past, and then that was where it ended. And then I added another piece. Yeah, and I also mismatched the seams of, like, the subfloor seam is right there, and then that's where the vinyl seams are. So yeah, basically I just kind of made some rough measurements and some rough cuts where I wanted these to be. And then when I brought the piece inside, I made some vertical relief cuts to relieve the tension on the vinyl sheet, and then made it more accurate. And yeah, and then the main floor piece, so it extends this way and it extends back there, just as far as it would go. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. Another thing is that this edge here, since it's kind of hard to get a 100% straight line, I oriented the vinyl sheet so that the front was the factory line, which was straight. And yeah, I was really careful, cut in small amounts at a time because you can always trim more, but it's hard to add more. So yeah, I'm happy with the main floor piece. That's how I did that. As far as taping down the main floor piece, after I had a good fit and I was happy with the trim level and stuff, I let it sit in the van overnight to allow it to acclimate and flatten out. That way I wouldn't have any warping later. So after it acclimated, I then got to taping down the subfloor. And you'll see that process on the other pieces, but I just wanted to explain for the main floor. I paid attention to the corners and lips, make sure there's a lot of tape there. And then I basically just laid the vinyl flat on the edge, like at the top of the floor, closest to the seats, and made sure it was a good fit there, made sure it was straight. And then I just removed the liner on the tape in small sections and unrolled the vinyl in sections. Alright, so it's the next day and I let both of the vinyl pieces lay in the van overnight to acclimate, and you can put weight down if it's really bad, if the panel is super warped because it comes like in a spiral. So let it flatten out overnight and acclimate to the temperature, and then I'm gonna vacuum again. I already cleaned it before I put the pieces in, but I'm gonna vacuum and then I'm gonna wipe down the floor. Then I'm going to use this to tape it to the floor. And with the tape, it goes a really long way. But I try to cover the whole floor and the liner stays on. It's helpful to have 2 pairs of scissors because it gets really gunked up from this. And it's also helpful to have like some alcohol of some kind to clean those. And then after the tape, we roll it, and then we use this to seam the edge. So let's do it. Started off real strong and did the main piece of flooring here, and then it meets with this like kind of awkward edge here. And I've been procrastinating doing it. So today I'm going to be taping down the final 1, 2, and 3rd piece for the main square. So I just used some of this carpet tape over here. And I'm going to be using this little roller to secure it. So it still has the liner on top. This is what it looks like when you remove it. So I'm just like rolling it down to make sure the liner will peel correctly. And then I'm going to be overlapping a couple pieces over here. So I'm going to peel it off and then secure this piece over here. All right, so I'm using some of this to seal where my floor meets the doorstep. So this is the vinyl, and then under that is glued to the subfloor, and then this is the insulation board. This right here is actually wood, and then there's like a 1x2 right here, and then there's insulation. But so I'm just filling in with these long strands along the step, making sure it's sealed up nicely, and then I'm just kind of like hitting it in with this pencil like so to get it nice and like flat, and then I'm going to be going over this with silicone. So I'm just sealing up the door today. Okay, so the next thing I'm doing after putting the caulk cord rubber seal on the edge of the step is that I am applying this carpet grip tape, and then I'm just going to be gluing some vinyl strips with the tape on the side, and then using this step cover on top. It just looks nicer, like you can see this piece. It just looks nicer to have it like look as if I folded the vinyl over. But yeah, and so in these like weird nooks and crannies, I did vertical cuts. These are called relief cuts, and these are really helpful when you're using the vinyl, when you're going around like corners and stuff, to go vertical and then horizontal so that your lines look good. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing the carpet tape, the vinyl along the edge, and then I'm gonna be using the like trim to finish it off. I'm gonna be applying the trim with construction adhesive though, not the tape. Just the vinyl with the tape. Okay, so I'm getting ready to glue these down. A couple things: when you meet at corners, try and do little triangles. That helps. Whee! And then before I'm putting down the carpet tape on this lip here, I went and used my utility knife and just cut at like an angle to just make sure the vinyl was extra flat against the floor down here. Alright, so this is what the trim is looking like after I left some weight on it overnight. This is what it looks like from the edge. I like it. I like it. It's looking pretty good for an amateur. So I'm just leaving the weight on like some major spots because the glue is not going to cure for 48 hours. So I just wanted to look at it. I put some more glue down on this piece, and this corner needs some work, but it's fine. Now I'm going to be using this to seal underneath the floor, kind of. I also put in that rubber caulking yesterday, so I'm going to be siliconing over that into this entire area. With the silicone, if you have any gaps like in your subfloor or anything, you can use this or this rubber bead and silicone. So I'm just going to be sealing up this step here. And then I'm also going to be going over some of these other seams where I used the latex seam sealer for the vinyl. I'm definitely going to be using silicone on top of the vinyl back by the vent as well. So yeah, I'm also going to just be sealing up some of these little areas where I didn't cut super as accurate as I really wanted it to be, but we're just going to be sealing over it. And then I brought some like camouflage duct tape because this stuff is not really going to be seen as much. So and it was a pain in the ass to get it behind all of this shelving and stuff. But when I bought the van, all of the shelving was in it, and I didn't want to take anything out or do more work, so I worked around it. So anyway, we're just going to be resealing basically where I sealed the subfloor down originally, so just around all the little nooks and crannies with this stuff. This is the main floor. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, and then back there is where the other stuff is. You can kind of see that seam, so that's where the new flooring is at the back. So back here is where I had to add another piece. You can see that's where. So to measure this piece, I just measured the dimensions in the van and then took those measurements over to my work area and measured them out using a tape measure and a pencil and a straight edge to just mark where I needed to cut. And I definitely ordered too much, so I'll be using that material somewhere else. But it fits pretty well. Just gonna slide it back in. So you want to make sure that where the seams meet, it's flat and there's no overlapping. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the fit around the wheel well and stuff. I'm gonna do some trimming along here, and same on this side. Pretty happy with it. It's not exactly perfect, but it's literally been such a pain in the ass to get everything back in this nook and cranny, so I can't demonstrate to you guys how big of a pain in the ass it has been working around my shelving that the previous owner made to do the floor. But it's good I'm not claustrophobic, because I'm in here working. If I hit my head one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Let me show you what's happening. So I've been laying down the tape, the double-sided carpet tape, and I'm trying to keep the seams relatively close to each other, and I tried to get as close as I could to what I did before up here. So this is what it's looking like. This is like the liner side. So the liner is still on, so at this point I'm just gonna use this roller and roll everything so that when I peel the liner, all of the sticky tape sticks to the floor. Alright, so this is what the tape is looking like before removing the liner. In a couple spots I'm going to remove the liner and then overlap the tape like there, just in any spot where there's like too big of a gap. You basically want the whole floor to be covered in tape. So yeah, I'm just going to start from back there and leave the liner on this side because I'm going to need to be getting in and out on top of this stuff. So just going to be removing the liner from up there first and then overlapping a couple pieces of tape. Alright, so this is what it looks like. I paid close attention to the corners, made sure there was a lot of tape on the corners and where it meets against the other vinyl. So I'm gonna leave the liner on this stuff and just stick down the vinyl sections at a time, starting from this side, and then I'm gonna just like roll it up. So I'm gonna be careful to apply it intentionally, because once you stick it down, you don't want to be lifting it back up because it's pressure sensitive. So this will be interesting considering I'm working in this little space. So here's my vinyl piece. I'm gonna put it down. My process for this was to roll the vinyl and then lay down the seam really carefully and make sure that it's flat and not overlapping. And I did a pretty good job. I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to remove the liner on the next section and add some more tape where there's some big gaps and unroll the vinyl from there. So next thing I'm going to be doing after I rolled the floor out is I'm just going to use this where the two vinyl meet each other. Okay, so I'm doing the trim now. I measured the right here and that was like about 2 inches. So then I cut this strip of the vinyl, and then I put a piece of tape down. I'm gonna remove the liner and then secure this to the edge like that. So I went ahead and trimmed the edge just with my utility knife and made sure that everything was flat. And now I'm gonna secure the trim down on the edge. So here's what it looks like with the trim. And now I'm gonna put this stair step edging on using this PL 375 heavy duty construction adhesive. So I just put some weights and then I'm gonna let everything cure for 24 hours. The finished product back here. Sealed up the seams. Yeah, boy.